Hey guys, it's Melissa. Welcome back to Practically Creative. If you're new here, welcome. We appreciate you being here. Today I'm going to demonstrate this ruler. This is the Basix 1.5-inch ruler, and it's little tiny. Put it up here so you can see it. It's less than 3 inches for this ruler size. And this is the basic block that you can make. So I'm going to do this block out of a 3-color strip. And down here on my table, I want you to be able to see this. We have a 3-color strip, and I know they're not great colors, but these are the strips that I had. 1.5-inch wide strips, and then you put your ruler on here so that your black lines, you take your ruler and you line it up so that your little black lines are lined up right along the seam lines on your strip. Now, I've had a couple of tips given to me, but I'm going to do this one just normally with my rotary cutter. And I'm using a Martelli rotary cutter. Those of you who have been here for a while know that I have arthritis, and this is one of the things that makes it easier for me to do what I need to do as far as cutting goes. So there's one cut from this. And I had a suggestion that I thought might be kind of nice. So I'm going to try something that Dawn from my quilt projects suggested. And that is, I'm going to draw the line on here. And I'm using a pencil because that's what I had handy and close today. And I'm going to see how this works as far as cutting these. Just because it might be easier for some people's hands to do it this way. And we discussed in the live a couple of days ago that it also might be easier to do it with a smaller rotary cutter. But I didn't bring a smaller rotary cutter out here today. That's not bad. Especially since it's a straight ruler and you could just cut right straight along that line. So there's the one cut with the rotary cutter, and there's the one cut with the scissors. Not bad. So I'm going to cut another one or two. I've kind of got the idea that I want to do a couple of blocks that I can mix and match here. And when I'm lining this up, I can use that edge that I've already cut here to line this up. Now, I did create my own ruler of this, my own version, out of a Dollar Tree plastic cutting board. And after I used it to make a few blocks, I was like, okay, I really do like this. And I do want to have the actual ruler. Because those plastic cutting board rulers don't last super long. I think I'll use this again and again, so it's not like it's a one project kind of ruler thing. See, my little corners are out, but they're less than 1/4 of an inch, so I'm not super worried about that. Personally, I think it's easier to cut it with the rotary cutter than with the scissors, because then you only have to do it once. You're not having to go around and around. But you do what works best for you. And one more. Now this strip was about 25 inches long when I started with it. And I'm going to a slightly wider part of the strip just so that I get a full cut. There's a little waste from this, but if you're doing scrap sewing, for your strips, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. And most of those are still big enough for me to do something with. All right, the pattern I showed on my live was this. So you get a star out of that. And you can get a star a couple of different ways here, because you can put the light star in the center. And it's all in how you turn it. And then when you do, I have a couple more of those cut already. Okay, so I've made some little 9 patches. They're kind of wonky, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. And what I'm going to do is I am centering the little square in the center over the 9 patch. Once again, you could probably use scissors and make a line on here. But we're going to do this way. Got to get my little threads off here. All right, so there's that one. And we're going to do that to all 4. And I'm showing it on camera because sometimes it's nice to see things more than once and to see how someone else worked out their little issues with a ruler. And partly I'm showing this way because I want you to see how I get around this with my bigger rotary cutter. And like I said, someone did suggest using scissors, drawing a line and using scissors. That's an idea too. And I have a bit of waste off of this, but they're made from scraps anyway. It's 1.5-inch strips to do this. And I just sewed them together the best I could. 1.5-inch strips are kind of tough to keep that 1/4-inch seam allowance on. This would be one of those times where that rotating cutting mat would be super handy. And I guess I'm going to have to go spelunk through my husband's office and find mine. And where these little corners are coming off here, I'm not worrying about that a whole lot because they're less than 1/4 inch and I can work around that 1/4 inch. Just massage it into my seam allowance when I sew these together. And these are going to be so small and look so intricate, you're not going to be able to tell. You still want to be really careful about closing up your rotary cutter and not getting your hand in the way. All right. So there is our 4 little 9 patch cuts, and you can turn these basically any way you want. You get them so that all of the top pieces are going the same direction. You could turn every other one a different direction. You can lay them out however you like. And they would make, here's my other blocks that I did. Definitely turn out into a very scrappy looking quilt or table runner or whatever. And this one looks bigger because I haven't sewn it. I've already sewn these together. So you've got, several different options you could do here. I could see putting sashing in between here and between the various blocks, which would break up the scrappiness of it a little bit and give your eye a resting place if you wanted to do that. But I think this little ruler is super cool. It's a great way to use up scraps And you'd get a totally different look from this 9 patch if you used, for instance, scrappy pieces, scrappy 1.5 inch strips. You wouldn't even be able to see a background in there. Or you could do, one strip for the center, one strip for each edge, and do different colors all the way around. I think it would work out great, and I think it would make a really cute quilt. Um, I may try doing some of those with some of my scraps out on my block and put that up as some shorts or a collage video. But that's what it looks like if you use just straight strips, and this is what it looks like if you use 9 patch blocks.